Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to talk about the bulk which I did between 2017 and 2018. So this bulk went on for 11 months and we're going to break it down into 3 parts. First part is going to be the training and the programs that I followed. The second part is going to be the nutrition and the weight gain. And the third part is going to be a comparison of how I looked after my first bulk to how I looked after this bulk. So technically my current physique over my old physique. So we're going to do part 3 first. So my physique has changed from the left physique to the right physique. And as you can see, I'm a lot wider and more defined on the right. My arms look bigger, I have more definition in my pecs. I'm actually just thinner in my waist. You can see that I'm just holding less fat. Yes, I am bigger on the left side because I'm closer to the camera and there is better lighting on that side. But just look at the definition in my back. The detail in the lats and in just the upper mid back is just so much better than the left. I'm actually quite proud of the amount of muscle that I've probably put on. Also, look at that pose that I can actually hit. I didn't used to be able to hit that pose because I couldn't feel my lats. Now I can. So you can just see there's more fat in the pecs and around the nipple in the left side. That's just going to happen with the amount of weight that I've put on. However, you see there's a lot left on the right side and there's just more square definition to the pecs. So there you go, there's the this bulk has been going on for about 11 months. I did one bulk which happened after I had surgery because I recovered from surgery. You can go and find my Road to Recovery playlist here. And then I did a bulk and then I went into a cutting phase where I lost weight and then I maintained that weight because I like the way I look, and maintaining weight is a good thing to do. You should do it. You shouldn't always go up and down, but that's a separate topic in a separate video. So the bulk is over. That means I can't eat as much as I want all the time. It's prematurely ended. It was supposed to continue for a little bit longer. However, some things are coming up in the future where I want to look my best, and I am a bit fluffier than usual. Let's get into part 1 of this video, the training programs. Now, during this bulk, I followed Kaizen training programs. I am not affiliated with them, I am a customer of theirs. I purchased these programs. Why? Because I believe in the people who created them. I've followed Omar for a very long time, I followed Silent Mike for a very long time, and I've currently started following Bak One. People are respected in their field, therefore I don't mind purchasing their programs. They're very affordable. Now, without further ado, let's get into the first program that I started to run whilst I started my bulking phase. So I ran the Infinite Off-Season Strength program. I got it in one. That's the first time I've ever got that in one. Anyway, so I ran the Infinite Off-Season program. Damn, I missed strength. And that program is free. That program will be linked below because it's absolutely free, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to get into powerlifting or who just wants to get very, very strong, because that is the focus of this program. Now, the best part about the program is that it goes off how well you have lifted. So you work from, I believe, around 70% of your 1 rep max. You can use calculators to figure the 1 rep max out if you don't actually know, or you could go in the gym and just see how much you can lift in the given lifts of the squat, bench, deadlift and overhead press, and put that into the program, and it will create your 70% for you, which is great because there's a lot of programs that just go do 70% and you have to work out on your phone 70%. It's not actually already in the program, so that's very helpful. So what makes it auto-regulating is when you did an AMRAP set on one of those movements on a given day, if you got over a certain amount of reps, next week the weight would go up because your percentage would go up. But if you lift your 80% of your 1 rep max for more than 8 reps, you should have hit a new 1 rep max. So what I did was I waited until all of my lifts went up past that point, so I had new, in theory, 1 rep maxes. So that was a 12 to 16 week period, and this is a 4-day-a-week program, and it ran as a mesocycle of 4 weeks. So you would have 3 weeks and a deload, 3 weeks and a deload. 4 days a week, really helpful for me because it gave me enough time to recover. It also gave me time to move it around during the week. If I couldn't go on a Thursday because I had a meal or Alex had a day off and I wanted to spend time with her, I could move my workouts around a lot easier. 4 days a week is plenty to get you good results. So after that period, what did I do? Well, I went into a peaking program, because I wanted to peak that strength, and then I wanted to test my 1 rep maxes compared to my previous ones that I built up during my first bulk. Because in my mind, that's how I know I've got stronger and bigger, because my 1 rep maxes have gone up. However, that isn't always the case. You may have just got very, very good at the movement technically, or you've just started to utilize every part of the muscle that you have. You may not have grown new muscle. You most likely probably have grown new muscle, but strength programs aren't there to grow muscle, they're there to get the best out of the muscle you have and then potentially grow more. So I didn't have a meet that I was doing, I just wanted to test my 1 rep maxes. Now, let's fast forward to those. If you want to see the full video of those and the breakdown, the video will be linked here. And that video, I really go into depth about the program and about the ups and downs of it and everything. But overall, let's fast forward to the actual lifts. Did I get stronger? Hell yes, I did. My squat went from 140 kilograms to 170 kilograms, which is huge because I actually had a hip flexor injury during the peaking cycle. I got my bench from 110 to 120, which doesn't sound as impressive, but bench is a weak point for me. We've got the deadlift, which went from 170 to 190, which is another 20 kilograms. So overall, I got 20, 30, 60 kilograms added to my overall total, which is a really big deal. Now, why am I doing strength if I want to get bigger as well? I should have maybe done a power building program, which kind of mixes bodybuilding and powerlifting together. Now, I like the idea of if you want to do something, you do it fully. Just like if I'm on a diet, I diet fully. You know, I don't go up and diet for a bit, don't diet, don't diet for a bit, don't diet. Because you can't ride 2 horses with 1 ass. You know, if you want to get some strength, do strength training. If you want to do bodybuilding, do bodybuilding. Because you'll get to the end result quicker because you've specified and you've been, you specially selected that certain program, and it'll get you there specifically. Did I say enough speces in that sentences? So the idea for me over this year or so long bulk that I was going to do was I would do a strength section about 6 months and then a 6 month bodybuilding cycle, so that I would get strong, be able to move more weight, and then when I went into my bodybuilding, I could move more weight for more reps, therefore get bigger. Logic? When we've got to the point in the story here where I'm at the end of the peak, we're about 6 months in. Maybe actually no, we're about 7 months in because it was a couple of months ago. If we're at end of month 11, that means I've only had 4 months of actually being on a bodybuilding plan. So I haven't really had a chance to grow, and I do feel like that has affected, parts of my weak points like my chest. Now the bodybuilding program, I started it during a mini cut because I got kind of fat during the last stages of my bulk, during the last stages of the peak. I celebrated because I achieved what I wanted to achieve with my strength, and I put on a bit of weight. And during that mini cut section, I figured out what movements I wanted to do. So again, it was 4 days a week. All these programs have been 4 days a week because they just seem to work. That's all you need. You need 4 days a week. And it is an upper, lower, and upper, lower. And you do similar movements in each, but the rep ranges change. Now, I'm not going to break the entire workout down for you because I purchased it, and I'm not going to give that away for free. It was very reasonable, and not only was it wasn't just a template. Because Alberto Nunez helped create this, you have literally texts, walls of texts about how to create the program. So you actually create the program yourself. So now, not only do I know how to have a strength program that adjusts to me, I now have a bodybuilding program that I can adjust to myself. Change out movements, it teaches you what to do with plateaus, it teaches you how to add an extra day for weak points. It's so much knowledge has been crammed into that program. I found it very, very helpful. I'm just sorry I haven't been able to run it for as long as possible. I've done about 2 full cycles of it because it has a deload sections. So I did it during my mini cut, figured out what movements I liked. Then I ran it for 2 months, and then I've run it for like 2 and a bit more weeks, and we're here right now. So I'm like halfway through. This will be week 3 that I'm going into of like the third proper mesocycle of this program. If I want to summarize all of those and how I think it went and what I would do differently, what I would do differently is I wouldn't do such long periods of a specific thing. Now I know I just said you can't ride 2 horses with 1 ass, and I stand by that. What I should have done in my mind, I think I should have done maybe 8 weeks to 10 weeks of strength, and then bodybuilding, and then strength, and then bodybuilding, and then strength, and mix them up. And then at the end of this bulk, then I should have done a peak, because I would have had volume work, strength work, volume work, strength work, and they would have made sure I weren't bored. They would have made sure that I was hitting all of my muscle groups, because by going for 16 weeks, well, going for even longer than that actually, or going for like 28 weeks without working really on my rear delts or much of my upper back, because you don't work on certain muscle groups. Forearms, I mean, I do it in deadlift, but you don't work on them, or my calves. So certain muscle groups just weren't hit for a really long period of time. That's what I would do in the future. I would break it up a bit more, and then if I wanted to test my 1 rep maxes, I would put it at the end of a bulk, if that's the way that I want to continue to track my progress. Overall, do I think the Kaizen programs work? Yes, I do. I definitely recommend them, especially the free Infinite Off-Season program. I said it wrong again. It's linked below, check it out. Part 2, this is going to be the last time we like talking like this, because in part 3 I will do a voiceover and we'll just visually see the differences of me. I may throw up some images during this about what I talk about, because as I gained weight, I will show how I looked. Now at the start of this bulk, I looked pretty good. I was around 12 stone 8 to 10 on any given morning. Like I said, I maintained that. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to gain about 2 pounds a month, because you can't, as a natural lifter, you can't really make more than 1 to 2 pounds a month of muscle. I knew I was going to gain some fat. I did want to gain too quickly like I did in my first bulk. In my first bulk, I gained the same amount of weight in 6 months instead of the same amount of weight in 11 months. Seriously, like, I gained the same amount of weight, but I'm a lot stronger, and you're going to tell later when we compare my physiques. So how I did that originally was, I kind of did, it was carb cycling, but it was more like calorie cycling, and I'll go into that now. So carb cycling is where on training days you give yourself more carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are where energy source goes. Oh, if you want this to be broken down into how I did this bulk from the beginning, about the calorie breakdown, my macro breakdown, link above for the beginning of the bulk. I go into way more detail about the macro breakdown, but here I'm not. It's a generalization of a long period of time, and I can't have this video going on forever and ever and ever, which it probably already has. Carb cycling is where you give yourself more carbohydrates on any given training day, and then on non-training days you would give yourself less carbs, because carbs are where your energy source is if you're on a higher carb, lower fat diet, which I am. What I did was I give myself 2,600 calories, which is 100 calories over my maintenance, or my old maintenance, because now my maintenance is 2,600 calories. Funny how the body changes and homeostasis changes. The bigger you get and the smaller you get. That will change. That's a whole different topic. Well done, Joe. Another segue. Okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. Come on. Carb cycling. So the reason why I did this is because I thought that it would be a good way to keep my energies high during my workouts, and my career, and then my days off where I'm sedentary because I have a job where I sit behind a desk. I thought that would be very beneficial. However, I didn't think that it was, because on my days where I weren't training, my energy levels were super low. I don't think I recovered as quick. I was very lethargic, especially for someone who was eating quite a lot. So what it made me do was made me really eat loads on the days I did train, but I was eating after the workout, not before. So your workout is fueled the day before usually. I wasn't fueling it properly. I wasn't giving myself adequate amount of energy, and I was trying to get it in afterwards. And can you understand? I burnt myself out, and then I'm filling up, so I'm trying to keep up with myself. That's how it made me feel, and I didn't really like it. I stopped doing that nearer to Christmas, and during Christmas I upped my calories to 2,800, and I ran it from there for quite some time, and I found that my energy levels were consistent at 2,800. Now, the reason why I went for that many calories is because on my days where I trained, that's kind of where I went to automatically. I would track my 2,600 calories, and then after my workout or later in the day, I would eat and eat, upping my carbs, and then I would track that, and it usually came to 2,800, 2,900 calories. So I thought, that's where I'll do it. It could, sometimes on those days it go up to 3,000, but then you have to think of the days where I'm not being active. So picking a good medium of 2,800 really worked. My energy levels were great, and that's something I would do again in the future. I would just pick a couple of extra 100 calories, continue it there, and then track the weight gain, and then if the weight gain stalls, then go up, and continually do that instead of just piling the calories in and the weight just goes straight up, because we want a slow, steady gain. Now, about halfway through the peaking program, I started to only track my protein and really just made sure my portions were the same, because I eat the same sort of food when I'm dieting and when I'm bulking. I have the same range of food, because once you realize portion sizes and once you've broken things down into macros and stuff, you kind of get a feel for what you need in a day-to-day basis. So I actually made a video about intuitive eating where I took the entire day where I didn't track anything, I just ate it. I had a target of 2,800, and at the end of the day I worked it out. I went to Sheffield, we had a really nice day, I went out for sushi and all sorts. The video link will be here, there's a lot of links in this. Video link will be here if you want to see that video. Was weighing myself every single day, and then I kind of got to every other day, and then it got to every other day, and then by one point I was almost weighing myself once a week. Now that wasn't the best idea, because that meant I didn't have adequate data, but most of the time my weight was going up the way I wanted it to. During this 11-month period, I only had 2 mini cuts. One was 3 weeks long, and it was aggressive, and it was after Christmas because I weren't going to restrict myself at Christmas. And the second one was after the peak. Now that could have been remedied by me just tracking during the peak a little bit more thoroughly and weighing myself more often, because I would have seen that it was climbing quickly, and I was like, right, let's rein it in. Okay, so if you look at the actual data on my FitnessPal, it goes up, down, up a little, or it goes that way. So it's like a little zigzag, and the rate of gain is so much better than the previous year, which hopefully I'll be able to find and put up, because that went up very, very steep. So nutrition wise, during this 11 months, if you broke it down from 11 months to the 20 odd pounds that I put on, because I did go from, I'm not even giving the raw numbers, 177, 8 pounds, maybe 180 actually. When I started at 180. If I'm wrong, I'll put it across here, and I'm around 200-ish pounds now, about 202. So I've put on around 20 pounds over 11 months, which is about 2 pounds a month. Now this data is not amazingly crystal clear, and that's because I am an individual who's doing this on his own. I don't have a trainer. I fill in my own little Excel spreadsheets and stuff. You know, I have work, I have a girlfriend, I have this, I have that. So if you're looking to do a bulk and you've clicked on this video, then the things that I would take away from this is up your calories, but make sure you're tracking at least for the first couple of months. Make sure you weigh yourself every day, because your weight is just like your bank account. You don't have control of it if you don't keep on top of it. Therefore, if you don't look at it, as soon as you track something, the sooner you can adjust it and control it. So if you ever done that where you're like near the end of the month, you're like, I can't look at my bank account, I can't look at it, I know that it's not going to be good, so I'm not going to look at it. Just like your weight. But as soon as you start looking at it and you go, alright, maybe I'm not going to have this Starbucks because I am a little bit down in my money. Is that even a sentence? I am a little bit broke this month, so I'm not going to have this Starbucks. Whereas if you go, oh, I don't know what's in my account at the moment, I'm sure I'll be fine, I'll just have this Starbucks. You see what I mean? So if you're looking to gain weight, I would do it slowly, maybe slower, even slower than I did, maybe a pound a month, pound to 2 pounds, and really try and get that protein in. 1 gram per pound of body weight is a great way to start, and then how you break your the rest of your calories up between carbs and fats is completely up to you, because at the end of the day they're not as important really. Like, I prefer getting higher carbs because I feel like my energy levels are good, and I feel like if you have too high a fat then and you bring the carbs down, then you can you have less portion size, which actually might be beneficial. What I did was later in the year, I upped the fats a bit more and I lowered the carbs because of Lex Griffin. He's a great resource, you should go and check him out. Amazing channel, shout out to Lex, really good channel. He actually has changed his diet, so it's like 150 carb, 150 fat, and then I think he's like 180 to 200 grams of protein a day for his macros, and that's really working for him. Now you could do a breakdown like that, but for me I wanted more carbs because he was experimenting and I wanted to see how well it went, and now I'm already going to be in a dieting phase, so I'm not going to be messing around with that sort of ratio. Okay, so thank you for watching the video up to this point. If you've learned anything, if you find any of my anecdotes and observations, shout out to Eric's Helms, helpful, then give the video a like at this point, and then we'll go over my physique and see if I actually do look better, where my weak points are, where I should probably focus on in the future, and where I've actually brought something up compared to how I used to look. Alright guys, let's get into that now.